This is the raw piece of spruce for the top of the Stewart MacDonald mandolin, and it's quite rough, but it's shaped. And the scroll is rough but shaped. So I'm going to start, the first thing I'm going to do with this is I'm going to start to smooth out the inside. I'll use the 220 or 120 grit sandpaper. Probably have to get a different probably have to get a finer so I'll do that. Emil got me this sanding block and all this sandpaper, and I think this is where this is going to really start to come in handy. There's the sanding block. It's got like a Velcro, and then the sandpaper comes in grit ranges from 40. You can see the 40, 60. I think it goes all the way up to 400. So let's see what the 60 looks like. That's pretty rough. Just to try it out, put it on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand this, starting with the 60, and then I'll reduce the grit all the way up to 320 or so, and then the inside of this will be smooth and ready for finishing. And I'll use my shop vac to vacuum up the dust. So those sandpaper blocks are going to come in very, very, very handy. Very convenient. So I can just shape this perfectly, rough shape it, and then gradually smooth it down so that it's perfect. I'm next using 120 after I rough sanded with the 80. And that seems to be the right step, 80 to 120. And what I'll do is I'll continue to reduce the grit until the inside surface is smooth as glass. At some point, once I get the surface all sanded, I may decide to take off more, to thin this here based on measurements. But right now I'm just trying to get it into a shape where I can actually see the shape of the wood. It's a really beautiful piece of wood. Straight grain. You can see the end grain there. These sanding blocks are just invaluable. Emil bought the whole thing for $10, sent it to me, and I liked it so much that I sent the same thing to Kevin. I think it's just a great way to streamline the sanding operation because you don't have to glue blocks together and stuff like that. And this thing, I'd like to get one, I'd like to see if there's one that's circular or a little shorter, because I think for something like this, that might be actually even better. But I'm not complaining. I think that an alternative to doing this would be to use scrapers, but I don't have scrapers at the moment, and I haven't learned how to use them. Whereas sanding is something I've done for my whole life. So I feel confident that I can do it with sandpaper, but I know that the real hardcore professional mandolin makers prefer to do all of this work with scrapers. It's possible to make an entire mandolin without ever using sandpaper at all, because the scrapers will allow you to create just an absolutely clean, beautiful surface. But this is going to result in the same quality. It's just that it's a different process. There's still some faint marks here from the CNC machine, and I think for the moment I'm gonna leave them because they're an indication of just the original shape of this. And you can see the difference between this surface here, which is 120. That was with 120. And I'm going to probably go all the way up to 320 on the inside of this. This surface here is glued to the rims and the block, and so this is perfectly flat. The scroll needs to be cut out, but that will be later. But you can notice the roughness of the surface here. I think I can show you in the light how rough that is. So that's the process.